Your son picked a book, or you picked it for him, and now he's stuck halfway through, refusing to finish it, and every night turns into a battle just to get him to open it. I've been there with dozens of students. Today I'm walking you through exactly what I do when a kid is stuck hating a book he has to finish. Because sometimes finishing it matters, and quitting isn't always the answer. If you're new here, I am Simone. I teach elementary and middle school English, and this channel is all about helping boys build real reading and writing skills without the constant fight. Last video, I covered 3 comprehension tricks you can use with any book. Today's a bit different. This is specifically for when he's already stuck and dreading finishing what he started. First, let's name what is actually going on. When a boy is stuck hating a book, it's rarely about the book being too hard. There are 5 things I usually see. 1. Pacing lost him. A slow middle section, a subplot he doesn't care about, and he's mentally checked out. 2. It isn't hitting his interests. The whole book just isn't connecting, and every page feels like an obligation instead of a story. 3. A vocabulary bottleneck. Too many unfamiliar words in a row break his flow, and instead of realizing it's a vocabulary issue, it just feels like, I don't get this book. 4. Too many characters or subplots to track. Reluctant readers rarely flip back to untangle who's who. Once he loses the thread, he usually just stops trying to follow it instead of going back. 5. The sheer size of it. A thick book can feel defeating before he even starts. What looks like, I hate this book, is often really, this is too much. Once you know which one it is, the fix looks different. If he's lost interest because of pacing, try skip and summarize. Here's what I mean. If he's stuck in a slow chapter, let him skim it instead of forcing a full read. Then have him tell you, in his own words, what he thinks happened in that section, even if it's rough or incomplete. This does something important. It keeps him moving forward in the story instead of stalling out completely. And it still builds the comprehension muscle of pulling out key information, just without the friction of a slow section killing his momentum. If the whole book just isn't connecting, find one thread he actually cares about and read toward that. Every book usually has something, a character, a conflict, a twist coming up, that could hook him if he knew it was there. I'll say something like, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a moment coming up in the next few pages that changes everything about this character. Want to find out what it is? That reframes the rest of the book from an obligation into a countdown to something he's curious about. If there's truly nothing that hooks him, and sometimes that happens, it's okay to finish the book differently. Audiobook while following along, reading the last few chapters together out loud. Whatever gets him across the finish line without turning the whole experience into resentment toward reading. If a vocabulary bottleneck is the problem, build in a quick word check-in. Every few pages, stop and ask, any words that tripped you up? Don't quiz him on it. Just let him flag anything confusing and give him the meaning in plain, simple terms so he can keep moving. This does 2 things. It catches the vocabulary gap before it snowballs into, I don't get any of this. And it teaches him that pausing to check a word is a normal part of reading, not a sign he's failing at it. If he has lost track of too many characters or subplots, do a quick who's who recap before each reading session. Before he picks the book back up, spend 30 seconds reminding him who the key players are and where things left off. For example, say, remember, this is the guy who stole the map and the girl is still looking for her brother. This removes the burden of him having to reconstruct the story from scratch every time he sits down, which is often the exact moment a reluctant reader decides it's not worth the effort to continue. If the book just feels too big, shrink the goal, not the book. Instead of finish the book, set a target he can actually see the end of. Let's just get through this chapter tonight. Or, let's read until page 10. Use a bookmark or a simple tracker so he can visibly see progress build up. The size of the book doesn't change, but the size of what he's being asked to do right now does. and that's usually enough to get him to actually start. So, skip and summarize when pacing is the problem. Find the one thread worth reading toward when the whole book isn't connecting. Check in on words that trip him up. Recap who's who before each session, and shrink the goal when the book just feels too big. Remember, finishing doesn't always have to look like reading every single page cover to cover. The goal is keeping his relationship with books intact, not winning a battle over one assignment. If this helped, subscribe. Next video, I'm covering how to make writing feel like something he wants to do instead of something he dreads. And drop a comment. What book has your son been stuck on? And which of the strategies you tried?